Hey everybody, welcome in for episode 29, Weight Loss Made Easier. Tips on cheating, you heard it right, cheating, food rotation, diet variety, and intermittent fasting. Struggling to lose weight like millions of people are probably right now by not using science as their guide. What if I told you there are simple strategies that could make it way easier? Cheat meals, intermittent fasting. Today we're going to do a deep dive into the secrets that can transform your journey and make it a lot easier on you. Most diet programs shame you for cheating on your diet. They use guilt and blame to keep you in line, but the truth is they really have got it all wrong. Dr. Whiting's been doing this for over 40 years now.
Yep.
And in this video, we're going to break down why strategic cheating just isn't okay. It's the secret weapon for real weight loss success. Let's dive in. Where do we start?
All right. This is one of my favorite subjects because it gets everybody's attention rather quickly.
Yeah.
One of the big nemesis of weight loss or dieting is cheating. And that we call that non-compliance because it sounds better than the word cheating, but that's basically what it is. And there are several reasons why people cheat. And we've already gone into some of those in this series. And we're going to address them in a bit more detail in the subsequent one that comes after this. But suffice it to say that people who are carbohydrate intolerant tend to cheat a bit more often, and that's because of their intense cravings for starch and sugary foods.
Yeah.
It just overwhelms them. And when we talk about the concept of cheating, there are physiological reasons, cravings, boredom, etc., etc. There are also psychological cravings, feelings of denial, feelings of being left out, feelings of being cheated that you can't enjoy your favorite foods, etc. Yeah. And one or both of them can be at play at any given time, causing self-sabotage of your weight loss program. So about 20 years ago, I figured out, why are we continuing to fight this? You go to a diet center and they will blame you and cheat you and put you on trial and everything else because you're weak-willed and you can't stop cheating. So I figured, why don't we approach this from a different angle? So I started to do research into what we call metabolic rhythms. And these rhythms go on in the body up and down, kind of like waves. And one of the things that we discovered was if you cheat properly, and I'm going to go into that in just a second, you actually can enhance your metabolic response rather than depress it. Most people cheat in the worst possible way, and I used to call that the sneak and nibble cheat. You have somebody who sits behind a desk all day, and in that top drawer, he or she's got a bag of those chocolate-coated nuts. And every now and then, that drawer gets open and a couple of nuts disappear.
The worst way to cheat.
And unfortunately, that happens. I mean, people think, well, how can a couple of chocolate nuts cause any harm? Nothing to it. True in and of itself. But that drawer gets open 8-10 times a day. And as a result, you're keeping your blood sugar slightly elevated all day long.
Yep.
This is not a good position to be in because it not only increases cravings even more, because then you go from 2 nuts to 4 nuts, and then 6 nuts, and then half a bag. And that's because your insulin levels are bouncing all over the place.
So is that mainly carb intolerant people, or is that
mainly?
Calories?
Now, when we talk about calorie people, if calorie people are eating too little food or too much, they're going to get cravings because they're hungry. And hunger's not a very pleasant experience. It's not a very pleasant sensation.
Yeah. And calorie people really have to watch eating too less food too.
Yes, that's a big deal with them. Because they have this twisted concept that says, well, if I'm losing a pound a week on 1,200 calories, I can lose 2 pounds a week on 1,000.
And that's what a lot of dietitians kind of go along.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's why I blame the dietetics industry for a 92% weight loss failure in the country.
Yeah.
Because they just don't know what the hell they're talking about. But back on cheating. How should we then cheat? Here it goes. Okay? You may, on your weight loss program, it doesn't matter whether you're carbon tolerant, calorie sensitive, which one of them, okay? But when you're on your program, the initial program, you got to give me 6 weeks of strict, no cheating, no nonsense behavior.
Yeah.
Because I need 6 weeks to change your chemistry. Once that happens, we're going to then introduce the concept of cheating. And so this is how it works. Every 7 days, once a week, you pick the day. Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, it's your choice. But once a week, for 2 hours, a 2-hour window, you may consume anything that you like.
When I went through this, the diet that you recommended for being carbohydrate intolerant, I found that cheating in the middle of the day worked a lot better for me.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of find when you want to do it, right?
Yeah, and you got to find what's more satisfying to you.
Yeah.
So you're going to eat anything you want in any amount you want for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And after that meal, you're going to go right back to your program. You can only do it once a week. So here's the advantage to it. What happens physiologically is you're shocking your system.
Yeah.
Because if you're counting...
It's kind of like a kickstart of the metabolism, right?
Yeah, if you're counting calories, then all of a sudden you consume 5,000 calories or 3,000 calories in one meal. Your metabolism goes, wow, I guess I'm not starving to death after all.
Yeah.
And if you're carbon tolerant, the same thing happens. All of a sudden you get a rush of carbohydrate foods, your body spikes insulin, and it goes, wow, what's going on? And then you go right back to your regular program, and it's like a false alarm.
Yeah.
For most people, it doesn't even register. Now, in the early stages, you might gain a pound after that meal, but you'll lose it again right away. After doing it for a while, you'll find you won't gain any weight at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like a culture shock to your chemistry.
You might actually lose a little.
That's right. I have worked with people on low-calorie programs, and they call and they say, I plateaued, horrible plateau.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about that in next time. But horrible plateau. And I find out that they're eating 700 calories a day. I said, for God's sake, eat.
Yeah.
I want you to eat 1,500 calories a day minimum. And you know what happens? 9 times out of 10, they lose weight.
The plateau's over.
They lose weight. So when it comes to cheating, there's a psychological advantage. And if you don't think psychology and behavior has anything to do with your success, you're bloody wrong.
Yeah.
Because it can play tricks in your mind that are very, very powerful. So consider this. Let's say you're going through the week, it's Monday, Tuesday, and you get the craving for chocolate cake.
And you wait.
You write it down on a sticky note, and you put the sticky note on your fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you get a craving for something during the week, you put it on the list.
Yeah.
And when you get to your cheat meal, you have them all.
Yeah.
So you're never more than 7 days a week, 7 days away from having whatever food you want to have.
Yep.
So you don't have to wait weeks or months. You're only 7 days away at the most. And what that does is it satisfies your psychological need for having what you call the pleasures of life.
Yeah.
And you will find after a while that the first or second cheat meal, you'll eat like a pig because, wow, this is great, this is fantastic. And then the next time you'll find, and about the third or fourth time you'll say, oh, I don't want all that food.
Yeah.
And you might find yourself a little sick. You might find yourself a little tummy ache from shoving all that stuff down your throat. And so it's self-regulating. The longer you do it, the less cravings you will have. And you'll find you'll come to a cheat meal and you'll just have one or two things that you really look forward to. And you'll say, gosh, I just really don't want anything else.
Yeah.
So using cheating properly not only satisfies you psychologically, but it actually jumpstarts your metabolism. I have so many clients who say, after my cheat meal, within 48 hours, my weight loss increases again.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, and the next time somebody shames you for cheating, tell them they don't know what the devil they're talking about.
So let's talk food rotation. Because, I mean, let's be real, the same foods every day is, you can get bored of it, and it causes boredom. And that's what causes a lot of people to throw in the towel when they're on a weight loss journey. Learning how to switch things up can really help you in your weight loss goals. For example, his book, The Weight Management Revolution, has hundreds of recipes, all kinds of styles for everybody. Carb, intolerant, calorie sensitive, and for the dual people who have them both. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I hear so often from people, they'll call our center and say, I'm just so tired of eating the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, why are you?
Yeah.
Why are you?
Laziness.
Yeah, that's the biggest one, laziness. Yeah. People don't like to cook.
And that's probably one of the reasons why you put so many recipes in your book, that last book.
You could, no matter what category you fall under chemically, there's dozens and dozens of recipes that fit to your chemistry.
And like for the Healthy Living Made Easy, the book that you did before that, which helped, so many people, it wasn't stacked with recipes like that. And I think that was one of the reasons why you kind of did that, was to kind of make sure that laziness or boredom didn't lead to you falling off because you think you had to eat the same thing every time.
Well, absolutely. And I got tired of people hounding me about the fact that I'm bored. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. Well, don't eat that. Eat something else. I mean.
And so what about intermittent fasting? Like some people swear by it. I just fell into it on accident and didn't even really know I was doing intermittent fasting. You've done it over the years.
I'm still doing it.
Still do it. And I did it on accident by the diet you told me to follow. I ended up doing it by accident and ended up being a real game changer for me as far as energy and weight loss. Break down how simply timing the strategy can transform your weight loss journey and how, I guess so many people think of intermittent fasting as you're going to starve, but it's really not like that.
No, you don't starve that quick.
Yeah.
If we go back to our ancient ancestors, you will find that for the most part, indigenous people eat only once a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes twice. And they thrived. They had more energy. They had more stamina. And that's because fasting for any length of time, and fasting is usually, we consider it 10, 12 hours or more between meals. It allows the chemistry to settle down. It allows the pancreas to stop producing excess insulin. That allows the body not to convert refined sugars to body fat through the triglyceride cycle. It just has a host of benefits, even for people who are not on a weight loss journey.
I think a lot of people don't realize that while you're sleeping, you could count those hours towards...
Sure, you're fasting while you sleep.
Yeah.
That's why people call the first meal of the day break fast.
Oh, yeah.
Because basically that's what you're doing. If you eat at 5 or 6 o'clock and you don't eat again till 6 or 7 o'clock, that's a 12-hour fast.
Yeah.
And that works well for lots of people. But determining the length of time and the cycle of fasting is somewhat experimental. I can tell you my own personal experience. I eat one meal every 24 hours.
Yeah, and me, I have learned that if I can make my last meal before 7 p.m., that's it. I'm done. I'm good. I'm fasting for 12 hours.
Yeah. Now, on the weekends, I'll often have 2 meals in a day.
Yeah.
Because I got to get that glass of wine in there somewhere. But during the week, Monday through Friday, I eat once every 24 hours. I'm not starving. I'm not craving.
But you got to kind of figure out
what's good for you.
What's good for you and what works
Start
for you.
out slow.
Yeah.
Start out with, in addition to sleeping at night, but start out, have your breakfast, and then start out reducing your food intake to 2 meals a day. So instead of that third meal at lunch, go breakfast and your evening dinner. And that'll give you another 8 hours of fasting.
Yeah, and just
try that and see how you feel.
And just as an example, a carb intolerant person, if they were trying to lean more towards that to jumpstart weight loss goals or weight loss journey, then a midday all protein snack is pretty much okay.
Yes.
Just as an example, because calorie sensitive couldn't do the same. It would be different.
It would be different for them. Yeah. But intermittent fasting has become a very powerful tool that we have in our arsenal. And I don't often put people in intermittent fasting in the beginning. You
don't want to make it too difficult.
Well, too much of a good thing is not always wonderful.
Yeah.
And I don't want it so complicated and confusing. So we follow our basic program until the individual begins to plateau. And then we use things like the cheat meal, intermittent fasting, etc., and we can also often break cycles of lack of weight loss, of plateauing, by using those methods.
And what comes first, I think, is really important is dietary supplements. They're so important when it comes to all types of body types when it comes to weight loss. Maximizing benefits of the tools like intermittent fasting, food rotation, and smart cheating are all good. But having those supplements that at the beginning could be the missing piece to supercharging your journey and to keeping you on track. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, according to the National Institutes of Health, the average industrial diet, that's the one most of us consume, provides only about 50% of the optimal range of nutrients for wellness.
Yeah, and that's if you're eating really good.
Yes. And we could do a whole video on why our food has no nutrients in it. In fact, we have in the past. It starts on the farm and ends in the grocery store. But anyway, so if you're eating whatever you want and you're getting 50% of the optimal level of nutrients, now you're going to go on a weight loss program. You're either going to be restricting the variety of foods you consume or the amount of foods that you consume. Is there anybody who can't figure out that that's going to produce less nutrients?
Yeah. And so for the carb intolerant person, they should be really starting with the blood sugar support from phoenixvitamins.com.
Oh, it's going to take their cravings away.
And then, of course, a high potency multivitamin like high vitality capsules or high vitality liquid.
Yep.
And then, so for those, that seems the simple one because I'm more relate to that. But what about calorie sensitive people?
Well, they need the same nutrients.
Okay.
Excepting for the fact that probably I wouldn't recommend the glucose support, only because they don't have that problem.
Yeah.
But I would recommend an ongoing detox.
Oh, Slim Cleanse.
The Slim Cleanse.
Yeah.
Because when you're toxic, and we're going to talk about that in the next series, we're going to talk about the top reasons for weight loss failure and what you can do about it.
Yeah.
But a lack of dietary supplements is a huge problem because when your body perceives a lack of nutrients, it sees that as a form of starvation.
Yeah.
Because you can starve yourself to
and then
death
also
from lack
that
of
slows
nutrients.
metabolism.
Yeah, and that slows your metabolism because your body's trying to conserve energy. It's trying to keep you alive until you get the nutrients you need. So important and so essential is this concept that anyone who goes into our program here at our center is required to consume, at the very least, a broad spectrum multivitamin mineral formula every day while they're on the program. Otherwise, we chuck them out because it is so likely to create failure, because when your body is lacking nutrients, just like if it's lacking food and calories, it's going to go into hibernation, slow your metabolism down to near zero, and your weight loss is not going to proceed.
Yeah. And so that's a good way to think about it. Weight loss isn't about perfection. It's about finding what works for you, and whether you're using dietary supplements or cheating smart or rotating your foods or for example, using the intermittent fasting, all these tools can make it a lot more easier and sustainable to continue on your weight loss goals. And we'd love to hear what works for you. There's always new things that are happening. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps us out. We really appreciate all the subscribers from the last couple videos. And until next time, just keep pushing forward. And if you have any questions, you can always ask. And if you have any ideas for things that we haven't talked about in any of the past videos, put them in the comments, and we'll address them as soon as we can.
That's right. And if you have any friends, relatives, neighbors, coworkers who are unhappily fat, share these videos with them.
Yeah.
Do yourself and them a favor and spread the word.
You could really be helping them out.